Hello everyone. Welcome to choir for the 2020-2021 school year. I just wanted to make this video to talk through a few things about how choir will work this year. All of these items are also in the document that I linked in the email. First of all, just some logistical things. All students are required to be a member of their choir's Google Classroom. All that information is on Progress Book as well as in the email. All the codes are there, and I also sent a email invitation to all the members of each choir as well. In addition to Google Classroom, all students will need to sign up for their Remind. There is a RHS Choirs Remind for the whole choral program, as well as Remind codes for the individual choirs. All that information is also listed in the document that's attached in the email. At any point, if there's any questions for me about anything that we're doing, please send an email. Just like the students and the parents get overwhelmed with hearing so much information from so many different areas, texting, emailing, phone calls, it can get very overwhelming and I can lose track. So if somebody sends me a remind message or a text, I might miss it and not get back to you. The easiest and most efficient way to ask me a question about anything is just send an email. I keep pretty good track of my emails, and that's going to be the best way of communicating with me if you have any question or concerns. And that email is cfowler@kentschools.net. It's the same email that all the teachers here at school have. If there's any kind of video conferencing, so for our cohort C remote learners, or if at some point during the year we go to all virtual, all video conferencing will be done through Zoom. I know a lot of other teachers use Google Meet. The reason why I want to use Zoom is because it's better for music classes. There is some options on my end as the host of a Zoom meeting where I can create a better audio stream. So for those cohort C students who are at home who have to listen to the piano through the internet, it sounds much better through Zoom with the optimized settings. All the Zoom meeting links are on the Google Classroom. So again, cohort C students, when you join us, you can just click on that link. It's a recurring meeting that will happen every day. Please practice with that. Make sure you can get on. You don't need to sign up for a Zoom account to use it. But we will be using Zoom for all of that, and any kind of issues we have, we can work out the first week. Now, class expectations. First of all, as the whole building and the whole district, masks are required. Now, for choir, it's a little bit more specific. In the whole school building, students can wear 2 gaiters. Those are those ones that kind of go over down the neck, or of course a mask. In choir, you will not be able to wear any kind of gaiter. It must be a tight-fitting mask. There's been a lot of science and a lot of research done over the summer, specifically with performing arts, because when you sing, and there's actually some toss-up in the research on this about if you sing or when you sing, if there's more particles and more aerosolization of the of viruses and other microbes. So we want to have a very tight-fitting mask. It is safe to sing with the tight-fitting mask, but it cannot be a gaiter. So if you wear a gaiter, the 2 gaiters anywhere else in the building during the day, you're going to have to switch it out for a tight-fitting mask for choir. The room is spaced. We have 18 desks in the choir room right now. The reason why we have desks and not chairs is because we will not be singing in the choir room. With all the different sized cohorts, it's just not safe to sing in that small of a space. So if we're in the choir room, we'll be doing other non-singing musical activities that are much easier if there is a surface for students to work on. So there are 18 desks that are spaced out. They are all numbered, and students have an assigned seat, and all that information will be given to them on the first day of school, where their seats go. There will be no binder cabinets. So if you have a binder that is still in the binder cabinets from last year, the first day that you are here, you can retrieve that, turn in any old music from last year, and then from there on, you cannot use the binder cabinets. It's just not safe having that area where people are congregating, getting binders and putting them back. So you will need to take your music binder with you every day and make sure you bring it back. No practice rooms. this year. The reason for that is there's no way for me, Dr. Repke, and the other music teachers to keep track of who is in and out of the practice rooms and what surfaces they touched. So just no practice rooms this year. I know a lot of kids like to come down during lunch or study hall, but we just aren't able to do that. Also, no playing the grand piano in the choir room by any students. Again, just trying to keep everything clean and safe. For our daily rehearsals, if we are singing, we are masked. It is not safe to do any singing unmasked. However, the science and the research shows that you can safely sing if you follow certain protocols, and the biggest one is wearing a mask. For the first part of the year, we will be outside rehearsing. There are 2 tents on the Roosevelt campus. You may have seen those driving by. There's one out front, and there's one closer to the CTE area. We'll be using the one nearest to the CTE wing because there's better access to power there, so we can have a keyboard. So we will be rehearsing. We will not rehearse and sing for any longer than 30 minutes. The science shows that any longer than 30 minutes, the accumulation of particles, it becomes at a dangerous level. So I will make it very clear for every day if we are going outside to sing that day, if kids need to go to the choir room first, or if they need to go to the tent outside. I'll post that on Google Classroom. But we are able to space out in that tent and stay safe from the rain and sun. Right now, I am planning to use that tent if it's 40 degrees plus. So students need to make sure to have appropriate clothes so that we can go outside. There is safe ways to rehearse inside, and we will be using the auditorium for that when the weather is really bad. But the best protocol is still going outside. So if it's 40 degrees plus, we will be going outside. That will take us maybe even into November. When we're not singing, we'll be doing other music work. Actually, it's kind of exciting because we don't have all these performance obligations this year where we have to have a full concert every few months. So I will be asking the students this first week and next week about what would your dream music class be? What would you want to study in a music class, not just choir? So a student might say, I want to research my favorite songwriter, or I will learn how to play guitar. And I will work with individual students as well as trying to get broad topics where we can do projects with full class sizes when we're not singing and rehearsing. So I'm kind of excited about that, and I hope the kids are as well. As for performances, as of right now, we will not have any in-person performances. There's not any safe way to do it. The size of our ensembles, even if we were outside, spaced out, for choral performance, it's just too wide of a space. The people on the outsides would not be able to hear across, and it just is not going to be a quality performance experience. So what we will do is one of 2 virtual ideas. So the virtual choir that you may have seen, we did one with Truth last year with the sopranos and altos, where every individual singer will record their vocal part, and then they send it to me, and I compile it into a virtual choir performance. The other way to do a virtual performance is to have maybe just the sopranos of one choir, of one cohort, so that might only be 6 to 8 singers, spaced out in the auditorium. We record that part, then we record the altos, then we record the tenors or whatever, and then we compile it that way. So that's right now what I'm thinking about what we'll have for our virtual performances. That is a lot of editing, video and audio editing on my side, so I'm not going to be able to do a whole concert of virtual music, but it is a way that we can showcase some of the repertoire that we are learning in class. And that might evolve and change as the year progresses, and the science and the research and the COVID cases change. We could kind of tweak how we do performances as the year goes. So we have an October 11th concert, Sunday, October 11th. Right now we are booked at Fred Fuller Park, the amphitheater there, just in case we're able to do something. It's not very likely, but it's there just in case. After that, the next performance is our Cabaret. If you're not familiar with Cabaret, it is an event that we do in the auditorium lobby where we kind of make it into a jazz club, and students can optionally audition and sing pop music, musical theater, jazz standards. And so it's usually just a solo and me at the piano. Now, with that type of performance, I am looking into doing some type of live stream where it's happening live. So the student will be on one side of the auditorium lobby and I'll be on the other in a mask. Lots of space, and we can live stream the students singing their performance and put it on social media. So that's one idea I have for Cabaret, which is the 17th of October. Ensembles. We do have co-curricular ensembles. If you're new to the program, one of them is ACES. ACES is a maximum of 12 singers from Choral Works. It's a SATB or mixed ensemble. That's the group that sings around Christmas time, caroling gigs. We also have varsity singers, which is 9 to 12 soprano alto singers. In the past, those ensembles have rehearsed at 6:40 a.m. We're not going to do that this year. All ensembles will be all virtual. We're trying to limit the amount of time that students are in the building as much as possible. So those will be all virtual. We will have virtual auditions for those next Tuesday, September 8th on Zoom. There is information on all the Google Classrooms, and I will speak about it in class as well to any students who would be interested in auditioning for those ensembles. And those students who are in those ensembles, we will then meet and discuss a rehearsal time that we can all agree to, and that's what we'll do through Zoom. Lastly, the remote student expectations. So these are the cohort C students. I am setting it up so it's synchronous. So all cohort students need to be on Zoom in their class's rehearsal at the time that the period is. So for example, if you're in treble choir, you will need to sign on at Zoom for first period at 7:30 a.m. I have assigned all cohort C students to cohort A or cohort B. So if you are a remote only student and you were assigned to cohort A, you will need to sign in to your choir class time on Tuesdays and Thursdays and join us for rehearsal. I am going to try to do it outside in the tent, try to make that work. And of course, if we're in the classroom as well, students will be expected to be on their Zoom meeting joining that class. And I will communicate through email, Google Classroom, any materials or anything that the in-person students are getting. So that's about everything I wanted to cover. If you have any questions, again, please email. Remind messages tend to get lost, so please do not message me on Remind. Or if you have my phone number, don't text, because again, it just gets lost. Just send everything, all questions and concerns to my email, cfowler@kentschools.net. We all know this is going to be a very different year for the all school, but definitely for choir. And I'm really looking forward to working with the students to create performance ideas, projects we can do in class to keep everyone engaged. So I look forward to seeing you this week, and thank you.